From luck dragons to childlike empresses, they brought the world of Fantasia to life. Now, 40 years later, the cast of the NeverEnding Story looks nothing like what you might remember, and you won't be seeing a few of them on screen anytime soon. Barret Oliver got his big Hollywood break playing the wonderfully curious scamp Bastian Bucks in the NeverEnding Story, but the former child star is nowhere near Hollywood today. Instead, Oliver is now a photographic historian who specializes in 19th century photographic technology. He literally wrote the book on the Woodbury-type printing process of that era. The NeverEnding Story wasn't Oliver's only foray into film. He went on to claim starring roles in Tim Burton's 1984 short film Frankenweenie, 1985's family sci-fi film Daryl, and Ron Howard's Cocoon. Oliver stepped away from the spotlight to pursue his more academic interests after 1989's Scenes from the Class Struggle in Beverly Hills. His experience appearing in front of the cameras has since come in handy though, since he starred in a 2012 short film about his craft called In the Usual Manner. Atreyu is something of a comeback kid in the NeverEnding Story. He endures the depressing death of his horse and still manages to battle back the forces of existential destruction.
When do I begin?
His real-life counterpart, Noah Hathaway, had already made something of a name for himself before he became the fabled hero of the movie. His prior credits included 1978's Battlestar Galactica and its TV follow-up, as well as appearances on a ton of then-popular shows like Mork and Mindy and Chips.
It's true. My dad was a hero before he died.
He quit the business after starring in 1986's Troll because, as he told the News Tribune, he wanted to live normally. After his career as a child star, Hathaway worked in finance and tattoo artistry. He decided to return to the business in 2012 when he landed a role in Sushi Girl. Hathaway's comeback didn't amount to many roles, but he did manage to reprise the one that made him famous. In 2016, he appeared in a Spotify commercial reprising his role from the NeverEnding Story.
I can't believe after all these years, people are still listening to this song!
The childlike empress might have relied on the boys in her life to give her a name, but Tami Stronach has no such identity crisis. The actor had no screen experience to speak of when she nabbed the role.
Atreyu, why do you look so sad?
She explained to Slash Film that it was actually something of a fluke that she was offered the movie in the first place. Although she's had a few other credits since, Stronach's current occupation and passion is professional dancing. She studied dance in college and graduate school and now runs her own company in New York. Stronach's decision to pursue a mostly non-Hollywood life was intentional. She told Slash Film, "I really love dancing. I made a decision that I would throw myself into dance and that if I really missed acting, I would return to it as an adult when I was in charge of my life and I wasn't upsetting my parents, who both had really active full careers and couldn't just give over all their time to pursue being my manager." That's exactly what she did. Stronach ended up frequenting the stage for several years and helped develop the Paper Canoe Company, which performs across the country. In more recent years, she and her husband, Greg Steinbrunner, have tapped into the growing nostalgia surrounding the NeverEnding Story. The couple developed Man and Witch, The Dance of a Thousand Steps, a throwback fantasy film that features many popular 80s actors. Stronach told Deadline, "This film is full of nostalgia for fans of classic 80s fantasy." Deep Roy is one of those character actors who's appeared in dozens of movies and TV series, though most people didn't know his name for years. His career began in the 1970s, and he soon took on the role of Teeny Weeny in the NeverEnding Story.
We are on the same mission! After all, if the Empress can't save us, who could?
Roy has continued working in Hollywood since the NeverEnding Story, playing various characters on the sidelines or in the background, while also working as a stunt performer. Eventually, people started noticing the actor's talent regardless of whatever makeup or costume he found himself in, and he's become a well-known and sought-after character actor. Roy plays Keenser in the rebooted Star Trek franchise, but he is probably best known these days for portraying every Oompa Loompa in Tim Burton's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Gerald McRaney's turn as Bastian's dad in the NeverEnding Story was brief, but the actor has enjoyed a lot more screen time in his subsequent projects. McRaney had developed quite a small screen resume before landing the small supporting role in the movie, and he's since continued to thrive on television. Most notably, he starred in Simon & Simon for 8 seasons before becoming the titular father figure in the hit sitcom Major Dad. McRaney continued expanding his small screen stature by appearing in various high-profile programs. He earned a nomination from the Screen Actors Guild for his work on House of Cards and took home a Primetime Emmy Award for playing Dr. Nathan Katowski on This Is Us.
And you thought I just delivered babies.
It was McRaney's first nomination, but he had presented at the Emmys before, so he was familiar with how it all worked. he told Gold Derby. "What I didn't expect was my wife's reaction to it. I've never seen anything like it. I refer to it as projectile crying." The voice actor responsible for most of the memorable non-human characters in the NeverEnding Story, including the Rockbiter, Falkor, and Gamork, was Alan Oppenheimer, who's had an illustrious career in front of the mic and the camera.
I like children.
His screen appearance credits include Hogan's Heroes, but his voice credits are far more numerous. He's perhaps best known for his work on Flash Gordon, Ghostbusters, The Legend of Prince Valiant, and The Transformers. One of his most recent roles was in 2022, when he voiced King Grayskull in 3 episodes of Netflix's He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.